What's going on, guys? My name is Joey, and welcome back to another video here on my channel. Today, I'm going to be giving you guys coverage on a frame you guys voted on. You guys have spoken, and you guys have voted that I cover Dagath. So here it is. I'm going to be giving you guys 4 meta builds for Dagath. Dagath is a very, very strong frame. A frame I really never dipped my nose into all that much because, quite frankly, I never really felt like I had a real understanding. But after playing this frame a bit over the past couple of days and getting ready to make this video for you guys, I am very comfortable with it, and I can definitely tell you guys that this frame is extremely, extremely powerful, and you can use her in different ways. So I'm going to be giving you guys 4 meta builds here, uh, before I get into any of the builds, I just want to go over my Archon Shards. So really, really important, guys. I would recommend you run at least 2 casting speed shards on here, as the animations on this character are so sluggish and slow. I would highly, highly recommend you guys go for casting. Now, I'm running 2 Tau Blues for Energy Max here, as on one of the builds, I do not go for flow, or 2 of the builds, I don't go for flow. So this is really nice for bolstering my energy a little bit as I use the other mod slots for stat padding. This is enough energy. It's totally fine for me. And then I have 1 Tau Red on here for strength. This is totally flexible right here. I just have this on to help me hit the thresholds for the second and first ability faster. But if you guys want to go for something different, you totally can. I just wanted to preface that, and I just want you guys to understand these are the shards that I go with. They work really well with all the builds that I have here for you guys, and when I show you guys the builds themselves, you guys will understand a bit better. So getting into the first build that I have for you guys today is going to be a Dagath level cap weapon platform, really, really comfortable build. This build is pretty much just based around having fantastic survivability, while also giving your weapons ridiculous amounts of critical damage value, as well as providing you with nice CC, giving you 95% slow from the first ability, as well as giving you some really, really nice damage instances from your second ability size. When you get to reproc the size on your second ability, they deal percentage damage that you dealt while the size were waiting to be activated. So all these abilities, they really, really come together really, really well. So you have a lot of tools at your disposal here. Now we go for Omamori Subsume on here. This is just to help our survivability, and not only just to help our survivability, but to give us the ability to proc Archon Intensify. Archon Intensify is going to be giving us another 30% power strength, which is going to be super easy to proc from Omamori, because as Omamori works is you're going to cast the ability, you're going to get X amount of charms around you, between 10 and 20, and with the altered version, you cannot get the invincibility, so I'll just mention that you cannot be invincible with this, but this will still be able to block 50% of the damage instances that you take with a 3-second internal cooldown, which really isn't all that big of a deal. So what this is going to do is this is going to be able to give you shields. It's going to give you HP. It'll be able to shield gate for you. It'll be able to proc Archon Intensify for us, since it's going to be able to heal our raw HP values. It's going to be able to proc all the time and extremely easily, because we are going to be using an R0 combat discipline. This is going to be you lose 1 HP on kill, so we're never really going to have to worry about losing HP from this, but we're going to be losing HP to the ability of being able to proc Archon Intensify. So they work really well together, and the fact that we're using combat discipline, we're going to have Avenger. Since this frame gives us a ton of critical damage, I thought we might as well go for something like Arcane Avenger on here to give us flat CC values, so we could use stuff like the Nuke Core or other weapons like that have really ridiculous CC values and get extra value out of the CC that those weapons have when they don't scale very well off additive CC values. So what we go for, as well as we go for our primed continuity on here. This is just going to give us our 55% base duration. It would take us up to 155, but we drop it down with transient fortitude right here. It's going to give us 128. This is the only duration mod we go for. We have blind rage on here, as the efficiency is not really all going to matter all that much. We're going to have very, very good sustain, especially with the Dagath's passive being there's a 35% chance that energy and health orbs will be 300% more effective on Dagath. So pretty much just one orb will practically fill your entire bar if you have something like Equilibrium on. Very, very powerful to have. We go for Rolling Guard on here for extra survivability. This is for dropping debuffs, things like that. You want 3 seconds of breathing time, you have this. Just to take care of yourself. If your own Mori's on cooldown and you don't want to shield gate spam, you can Rolling Guard. We still have the ability to shield gate on this build because we are running Augur Reach and Catalyzing Shields. Catalyzing Shields is going to drop our shields down to 50. doesn't really matter all that much because catalyzing shield is bugged. As long as you have some semblance of shields, whether it's 1 or 50, you're going to get the 1-3-3 full shield gate duration. So we go for 1 Augur mod here in Augur Reach. Now, if you want to use Stretch, you can. You just need a way to shield gate, so put Augur mods on your secondary weapon. On this build, before the showcase, I was running a DPS Nucor that did not have any Augur mods on it, so I was running Augur Reach here instead to be able to shield gate with this, and it works totally fine. So just understand that if you guys want to go for something like Stretch here or whatever it is, Archon Stretch here, totally fine. You guys can go for that here. Just understand that you're going to need an Augur mod on your secondary weapon because we don't have Brave Respite, so we need a way to shield gate. And then as well, we have Molt Augmented on here just for some more power strength on top. Now to show you guys a little bit of how this works, pretty much what you would want to do with a build like this is you're going to probably unpause them. You're going to be taking damage here from these enemies. Let them break my overguard. You're going to see now I'm going to take damage from them when they decide to shoot me. We'll just sit here and wait. Okay, they finally shot me. Now you can do things like shield gate. I'll kill an enemy so I can get my passive to proc here or whatever. They're moving around like crazy. Yeah, you can see pretty much my Omamori is going to be able to heal me. You can see how it's going on cooldown in the top right corner. Also, I guess this is kind of just like a visibility of you can see how well this build survives. It's got really, really good survivability. You can see here, though, when I kill an enemy, I'm going to take damage from Combat Discipline. Omamori will proc. Henceforth, Omamori will then proc Archon Intensify here. Now, I'm just going to pause these enemies again because they are just not cooperating with me. And I'm just going to go down to like some heavies here just so I can give you guys an easier idea of what's going on here. So pretty much I have Omamori on here. You're going to be able to kill these enemies off. I'm picking up the HP orbs, but you're going to be able to kill the enemies. They're going to hit you. Omamori is going to heal your HP because it's not that they're dealing damage to your HP. It's that you're dealing damage to your own HP. So you're not really like in a bad situation where you're like, oh, am I going to get killed? No, because you have shields. You can still shield gate while you're losing your own HP values, and it's still fine because you're playing around your shields. A lot of times on shield builds like this, you pretty much just need to think to yourself, like, okay, I have 1 HP and 80 shields, and you're entirely relying on the shields to keep you alive, and that's exactly what's going on here. You can see here, like, my Omamori will heal me. It'll give me ridiculous amounts of overshields, which is really, really nice. My Dariga is going to proc things on them like radiation, so it's going to make them not attack me as much, but the whole point of them here is really for having them attack me. You can see I take a little bit of damage in the top right, and then Omamori will heal me. In your actual mission, when you're killing a lot of enemies, it procs a lot more often, it's a lot more common, but in here, with only 20 enemies and them separating the way they do, it can be a bit annoying. But it really gives you an idea of how this works. Now, exactly what I meant to with this was you want to go into like your third ability, you want to use your second ability, you could use your first to apply viral to the enemies, whether you're waiting it out or you go walk on top of them yourselves, and then pretty much just shoot them, and you're going to get those ridiculous critical damage values. Now you can see in the top right corner here, we're getting 177% critical damage. Now that is to enemies that are not affected by Doom. If enemies are affected by our second ability, which is Doom, you'll see here that we are going to get 319% critical damage. So if you use a big, strong weapon like the Torrid that has a ton of critical damage, you'll just be able to see that it will just delete these packs of enemies. So it's very, very strong overall. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on this build because really it is just a basic weapon platform. Pretty much, it's just going to be your shield gating with your first ability. Use your first ability to shield gate. It costs a lot less than your second ability, and the cooldown is only 1 second. You're going to be able to shield gate as long as you're doing it properly because you have a 1-3-3 second window, and you have rolling guards, so you shouldn't have anything to worry about. Plus, you're going to see you're going to be able to slow the enemies like this. They're not going to be able to touch you. So really, really powerful stuff here. I would definitely recommend if you guys are looking to use him as a weapon platform, not a melee platform, but a weapon platform, I would definitely recommend you go for something like this. Now, real fast, before I get into the other styled builds, I want to jump into this Wrathful build. Now, this Wrathful build looks exactly the same as the 9999 weapon platform build, except we swapped the aura to Steel Charge because we're going to be using melees. Now, you don't have to go for Steel Charge, or you can go for the initial combo, Ready Steel. You can go for Ready Steel here if you want to. Whatever if you feel like going for, you can go for here. I just have Steel Charge here because I feel like it. And then right here, I Precision Intensify right here instead of Archon Intensify instead, because we are not taking out our own HP with Combat Discipline. Then we go for Arcane Fury. The rest of the build is exactly the same. And then we have Wrathful on here. Now, Wrathful is going to give us 359% pre-Matter buffs, pre-Augur, Molt Augmented buffs, any of that. So it's going to be giving us a ton of percent, as well as this is going to be giving us that 269, and that's going to go up as we build our Molt Augmented, as we sling with Matter Eye. It's going to go up. Also, I just want to mention the threshold for the second and first ability is 286% power strength, so you can get that at base with one sling here, or we'll just do a bit of augmented stacking and we're going to hit it no issues. Now, this build, exactly the same as the first one, except you don't have Omori to actually care for you as well. You're really just caring for yourself, but you want to just use the abilities that are at your disposal. You want to Shield Gate, you want to Slow, you want to use your third ability, you want to use Wrathful, and then you just melee them. And you're going to see that you could use Dagath as a melee platform. Now, you could see the difference here between me hitting them without my second ability on them and with the second ability on, and you could really just see the damage difference that is on this build. It's really just like significant. It's very significant. This is just my pure slash Skana build. I have a video on this on my channel if you guys are interested in the Skana build. Very, very basic build here just to show you guys how the crit works on this weapon. Works extremely well. You can see that survivability is also really no issue whatsoever. We have rolling guard on this too, so you could roll out. You know, we're still fine. We have full shield. We didn't have to gate. You don't have to gate till the next time they break. So yeah, this is definitely a really, really strong weapon platform, melee platform frame. I would highly recommend you guys give these two builds a shot. They're very, very strong. Now, I know a lot of people watching this are going to be like, okay, now where's the horses video? The horses are right here. Now, I have two horse builds. Horse builds are going to be pretty much... One is my innovative build, which is going to be this one in front of you right now. The second one is going to be just your average horse build with Roar that you probably have seen before, but I just figured I'd show it on here because I know someone's going to ask me why didn't I just put Roar on. So, you know, I have the build here just to show you guys. So first things first is we have this build right here. Now, what this build is going to be is this build actually has Dark Verse on this. Now, to explain the way the build is going to work to you, we use Spectral Spirit here. What Spectral Spirit is going to do is it gives weapons a 100% chance to apply Doom, which is your second ability. Now, that means that even abilities coded as weapons, such as, like, say it was something like Null Stars, or even now we're using Dark Verse. Dark Verse is coded as a weapon. So Dark Verse will apply Doom. Now, you may be thinking, yeah, okay, you know, this has a large range, but it has a rather small cone. Now, Dark Verse gets a larger range, 10 meters, just with the setup that we have here, and it has a larger cone. What I find with Dark Verse is that you can so easily prime entire rooms with Doom to be able to reset your Grave Spear cooldown on repeat. Now, not only that, you're going to be able to use the horses. Now, the horses I also want to mention, they don't only hit a single time. They hit multiple times since there's multiple horses. Now, you can see the defense reduction is 73%. You only need 143% power strength to full strip as long as you're getting more than one instance of damage on a single target out of your horses. Now, for me, we're up a bit higher because we're trying to hit some other thresholds. We're trying to do a bit more damage. Since we're not using things like Roar, we need a bit more damage out of it. So we go for a bit more power strength on here. Now, the 190% range is all we're going to need out of this build, and we're going to be getting that from Overextended. It's the only range amount we're going to need on this build. Now, the luxury of this build is that we actually get to go for Prime Flow on here. So we go for Prime Flow on this build, and you can see with the two blue shards, we actually have 791 energy. So you're never going to have any problems with your energy whatsoever. Now, if you're looking to build something just like this, and you're not looking to build one of these weapon platform builds where I don't use flow, then you don't need the blue shards. But I'm not taking them off because I'm going to be using these builds, in my opinion, a lot more so than these. So just ignore that for these builds. You could put whatever you want aside from the blue shards on these. So the way these looks, like I said, we have Blind Rage on here because the efficiency is really not going to matter all that much. Transient because 128% duration is totally fine for something like this. We have Prime Continuity that's going to give us 55% duration to get us to 128. We have the Spectral Spirit Augment. So this also, aside from your weapons applying Doom, when you press your third ability normally on Dagath, you go into this mode where you get critical damage on your weapons, but you don't get anything really extra than that. When you die, though, with this active, you go into an invulnerability state for 13 seconds. You see 12.75. That's normal. That's what it's like on this build. If you have Grave Spirit active on this build and you are killed, even through like all the Omamori protection and everything, you will not actually die. It will save you and you will go invulnerable, and then this will go on a 25-second cooldown. That's it. 25 seconds. So you just gotta wait 25 seconds, and then you get all your buffs back, and you get the chance to, have an instant revive again, which is fantastic. So this is going to actually put us directly into that form. So what this is going to do is it's going to pretend like we never have that window where it's up and we're waiting to die, which in my opinion for general builds isn't fantastic, but for a gimmicky build like this, it actually makes sense. Because we're going to be able to do so much priming with Doom that we're going to be able to reset this on repeat. So, like I said, we're going to go right into the form. So I'll show you guys how this actually looks right now. If I was to press my third ability, you see we go right into this weird form. We have these faint blue smoke on the screen and everything. This is the form. You can see now if I go here and I was to press my first ability, you can see that all these enemies are now affected by Doom. Now, if I was to shoot my horses at them, my horses will kill them, and you can pretty much see now that my ability is back off cooldown already. Now, the whole point of this is sort of to be a hybrid in a sense, but also because you're going to need to be able to kill with your weapons once in a while, but also in the sense that right now I'm invulnerable. You can see they shoot at me and I don't take any damage. I'm totally fine. I would recommend if you're going to use something like this and you want to kill with the horses, you bring a little bit of viral, because the viral is going to help you get those kills off, but you can see that we already have 2 seconds left on this right now. Cooldown's at 22 seconds, and now you can see here, we're not going to be able to apply it since we're not in the form. We can't apply Doom, so we'll use our second ability if you're not in the form. You can do this. You can use your primer, and then you can use your horses. You can use whatever you want, and now you're right back in it, and now you can apply Doom again with your first ability. I thought this was very, very fun. A bit gimmicky, but very fun, different to the normal horse build you see with just Roar. It does put out some significant damage values, and it's quite unique in the sense that you're going to be able to prime large rooms. Now, it doesn't look as effective right here. I definitely will say that. But the reason I would have to say that is just because there's only 20 enemies here. In a large room, there'll be tons of enemies, or in a larger hallway, there'll be tons of enemies you'll be able to hit with this. That you'll be getting a lot more value out of it than you are getting here in the simulacrum. It's more of just a simulacrum thing here that you're seeing. So yeah, just understand that. So as far as, and then also I want to mention too, though, really important for this build, I would definitely recommend you go for Arcane Steadfast. You're going to be casting abilities a lot on this build, so I would definitely recommend this. Really, really handy for being able to cast things like your 4 for 0 energy instead of 155 when you're spamming it quite often. You'll be able to get this to proc really, really easily from pressing things like Dark Verse. It only costs 38 energy. So you're going to be able to get this up no problem, and then you can get some free launches out from your cavalry, which is going to be fantastic. So as far as that build goes, this works really, really well. It's really fun. I've been playing it a bit the past couple days, and I've been having a ton of fun with it. So now, if you guys are interested in the plain Roar build, this is it right here. Now, what I would recommend if you're going to go for the Roar build is I would recommend you put something like the Harass on, because everything on this build is going to be pretty expensive since we're taking off the first ability for Roar. So we have 116, 77, 116, 155. It's pretty expensive to shield gate on the build like this. Now, we are still going to have the shield gate mod on here for our survivability for those scenarios where we are going to need it. It's not going to be completely useless. There are going to be some scenarios where we find ourselves needing it. But we're going to bring the Harass with us because the Harass is going to keep us invisible when there's enemies nearby. So pretty much with this kind of build now, you can see I'm going to go near these enemies. Now you can see my Harass has me invisible. They don't know where I am. They don't know where the Harass is. Now all you need to do with this build is just press your second ability and then press 4. And it will kill everything. Now this is definitely the better option if you're just looking to just like, I'm just like, okay, I want to do this. If you just want to deal easy damage, I would say definitely go for the Roar build. But, it's just, it gets really boring, to me at least, this kind of build. It gets very, very boring. This is kind of a big reason why I didn't play Dagath at first. I don't really like the horses all that much. I feel they could be a bit better, or just like a bit more fun to use. They're a bit clunky as well when it comes to the animation. So overall, I'm not really too big of a fan of the horses, but they are strong, and you can see here that they are very strong. So if you're just looking for a build where you can just straight abuse the power of the horses, then I would definitely recommend you go for something like this. Now, this is the exact same build as the charge build, except instead of Spectral Spirit, we have an extra range mod on here in Archon Stretch. So that is going to be the build showcase for today, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Now I'm going to leave a poll up so you guys can vote on what you guys want to see next. I don't know if it's going to be a Warframe poll or a weapon poll yet, but for those of you out there who voted for things like Temple and Ureli, I'm going to get to those, and Oberon, I'm going to get to those guys. Don't worry. I'm going to be posting them. I'll be polling them for you guys. But I've covered a few frames in a row, so I might do a weapon next, but I'm still thinking about it. So I will leave a post up hopefully by the end of the day where you guys can vote on what you want to see next. So as far as that goes, I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. Leave a like, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Leave a subscribe. I really appreciate it. It helps me out a ton. And enjoy the rest of your day, guys.